Yeah.
Oh no!
Matt, what the hell was that?
Wasn't me, coach. Welcome to the straight red card. Get off our lawn.
Welcome to the Straight Red Card. Joining us post the United States being out of the tournament, there are Brett's kids yelling in the background.
As
somewhere.
if on cue.
Blah, 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 in the background
Boom,
somewhere.
boom. La, la.
Welcome to Straight Red Card, where we are sponsored by KY Jelly. It is water-based personal lubricant for wetter sex. I don't think I'm into the wetter part of this. I think they need to change that. But that's right on the box. It says that for wetter sex. Wetter. I don't want my sex to be wet. I don't want.
If you want to wrap a piece of sandpaper around your dong. And go
No,
out, right?
I just want it to be. I want it to be glidey, but not wet. So I'm not sure. They need to rebox this. The turd in the background says, "Welcome to the Straight Red Card, where Derek wishes the show was already over. Will Greg stay? Who'll replace him? Will Berlin Americana get his wish? Where I get fired and Sergeant plays the night." Now, if there's one guy that should definitely be fired after this World Cup, it's Michael Cameron.
By the way, it says Sergeant plays a 6.
Oh, what did I say?
You said 9.
6,
He does play
9.
9.
Put them together. It's joy for everybody. All right, the turd in the background. Oh, and Darnit's Point gets called up again. Yeah, I know, but, as long as he's playing at Kaiserslautern, that's probably not going to happen. Greg is staying. Well, he's in talks. We'll get into that later. He's in discussion, although the Federation made it sound like they're going to take their time. I don't know what that means. 2 weeks? Like and subscribe. Thank you, Chris, because we're so stupid we never say that. Buy merch. Yes, buy merch. It's down below. There are T-shirts. There are cock warmers, foot warmers.
Which works out perfectly for a great present for your grandma, according to Chris.
There's whole rolls of toilet paper you can buy with our faces on it. All that. All right? Make a great Christmas present for your grandma. I used to say that all the time. Share it with your grandma. Just Frank. Is Copa America 2024 coming to the USA? Of course it is. Any info on that?
But coming
yes,
to the US?
It is. We're going to host it.
Oh, no
Yes.
shit.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's been leaked all over the place.
Everybody makes
today.
money.
Yes, that's why they're going to do it here.
Money.
The whole Ecuador, Colombia thing didn't work out. They pulled out. Ecuador did.
Hey.
And that's why they have fewer children in Ecuador. That seems to be a trend. They've
got some good pull-out game.
Yes.
Nice. Much easier to do when using KY Jelly.
KY. That reminded me of a story, by the way. When I was working at Village Pantry when I was at IU going to college, I got a call at 3 a.m. to our direct line. And I went into the manager's cubicle and, it's midnight. I'm making donuts. And I picked it up. I said, hello. And the guy says, yeah, do you have anything there for like a really hurt butt? And I was like, what? Like, what's wrong with your butt?
Got some Budweiser in the back.
He says,
make you forget all about that.
He said, it's my asshole. It really hurts and burns. And I said, well, what's the problem with it? I'm trying to be serious here. This guy's like, well, my boyfriend's been slamming his cock up it all night. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute now. We don't have anything for that. You should have done that on the front end by using some fucking lubricant. And he's like, you don't sound like you really care. I'm like, this is a prank call. Really, isn't it? He said, no, it's not. I'm serious. I'm going to call your manager tomorrow morning and get you fired. I'm like, okay. Oh. Well, good luck on that asshole.
Okay, Karen, calm down.
That was how many years ago? I was fucking.
You were fucking what?
I was doing a lot of fucking back then. I must have been like 22 years old, 21, because I went 5 years to college because I couldn't figure out what the fuck I wanted to do, and I didn't want the party to end. Anyhow, there's that. So the moral of the story is use some KY, man, and your asshole will not burn. I don't know this personally. I've never been penetrated in the asshole, so I couldn't vouch for that, but I'm pretty sure it's a better option than not having it. The turd in the background. Sorry about that, Derek. Oh, you were pranking me all the way back then, turd. Well,
he forgot to drop the name Seymour Butts, apparently.
And then Stan Dockich's brother used to always make sure that Haywood Jablomi got in the fucking phone book year after year after year after year. Yeah, he was in there.
In fairness, the phone book's always went by last name first, correct? So it'd be like Jablomi.
It was Jablomi, Haywood. Yeah. Every fucking year for 7 years in the
some guy at the local white page is going, wait a second.
I wish I would have kept that.
I don't believe that.
Yeah. Every year it was in there. Bloomington phone book. People are like, what's a phone book? Well, that's a book with phone numbers in it for all the people who have landlines. You're like, what? Landlines? Who the fuck? They were like, everybody had a phone that was a landline
with a cord? What?
How are you talking about? Yeah, it's true. My first cell phone was in 2001, and they were large. All right, Chris Gary. I went to school with a kid named Richard Dickinson. Yeah, that's a little redundant of a name. It really is.
His nickname happened to be Pedo, so.
Dickinson. That's more than pedo. That's also having sex with a family member.
Yeah, it's a whole fuck up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gross. All right, let's not do that. But if you do, make sure you use KY jelly.
Oh no. I'm sure KY won't mind selling it to whoever.
I had to get the commercial in.
I'm sure KY appreciates it.
Hey, wherever I can get it in, that's where I get it in.
Derek, when's that check hitting our bank account, by the way?
Already hit. I spent it. Yeah.
Shit. That's when you bought all that caviar and gasoline.
Yeah, exactly, on accident. I did buy, and I had to tell Brett, I bought caviar. I ordered caviar online. I didn't know our PayPal account was set to just our mutual account for the show. So I bought caviar, and the next day I bought gas because the two cards for TCU and IU Credit Union, they look exactly the fucking same. There's no difference between the two of them. They're both
you moved out of IU and you haven't left the union yet? Come on, man.
No, I have not.
I haven't had an IU Credit Union account in decades.
Well, they've been good to me over the years, so I'm not leaving. All I do is mail checks, and how many of us get checks anymore? It's the last time you got a check. So, but when I get them on occasion for birthdays or whatever.
I was going to say for birthdays, usually from elderly family members.
Yeah, I just mail them in. All my elderly family
Mail?
members.
They don't have an app that you can just take a picture and submit it that way?
They might. I haven't taken the time to look it up. It's much more easy for me to put an address on an envelope, slide the checks in, and mail it. So there you go. Yeah. Don't buy it, Brett. Smells like misappropriation of funds to me.
Oh, I accidentally bought caviar and gasoline. My bad.
What's this charge? Oh, hooker. Sorry about that.
But Derek, she was $15.
Oh, $15. I thought you were going to say she was 15.
No.
Hey, we don't do that here. All right. That was legal back in 1897. It isn't anymore, probably in any other state but Tennessee. And what was the other one? Mississippi. It was pretty legal right up until the last decade to get married to a 15-year-old with the parents' approval. So there's that.
Yeah, it worked for Elvis.
It worked for Jerry Lee Lewis. He married his cousin, who was 15 years old. And what was he at the time? 26? Yeah. Kind of like, in the family, and she's young. That's sort of weird.
No, turd. It's not too gross. I just can't pull it up because Derek would criticize the grammatical error.
Huh? Okay. Yeah, it's the English teacher in me. Derek loves eating caviar out of a fish's pussy. No, I don't, actually. I don't know where you get that idea. I've never shown any inclination or interest in fish since we've been on the show. I've never talked about any fish fetish here. So I think I'm
Didn't you bring
clear.
up one time, would you rather do a half fish top half fish, top or bottom human, or vice versa scenario?
You talking about
would you rather do a person that has a top half of a fish but a bottom half of a person, or bottom half fish and top half person?
We've never discussed that, bro.
Oh, okay, sure.
That's what you call a reverse mermaid, by the way. And I'm not sure I'd really want to do it, either of them, frankly. I mean, I'm sure a mermaid, a normal one with the fishtail and all. I mean, if she were beautiful up top, she could suck my dick, I guess. But I mean, other than that, seriously, that's kind of weird, though, because I'd be worried about how long she'd be out of the ocean. But there are whole movies about this, right? What was the movie with the mermaid that came out?
Little Mermaid?
No. The other one. It was with.
There was a movie called Mermaid as well.
Yes, with the blonde chick.
There's also the what's the M. Night Shyamalan movie that has a mermaid in it? Sound of Water or something like that?
Could be. I don't know. I've never seen it.
No, it was Fantastic to Forget.
Daryl Hannah was mermaid.
Jesus Christ! As if like on cue.
Oh!
You literally said it as it pulled up. Wow.
Hell yeah, brother. Well done,
Splash.
Splash.
Movie?
Yes.
It was Lady in the Water is one I was thinking of, yes. Chris Gary says Hannah Montana?
No. But my son used to watch Hannah Montana when he was young. He watched all that Nickelodeon bullshit. I would watch it too sometimes and go, what are you watching? This is garbage. Go watch the news or something. This is horrible.
Watch the news.
Well, I don't know.
Well,
watch Ren and Stimpy or whatever you can find, but don't watch this shit.
Good luck finding that on TV too. No, I don't know if we've talked about this or not, but man, I've gone back and watched some of my favorite shows from my childhood. And I came to the conclusion that my parents were absolute saints for watching movies and shows from my childhood because they were all fucking garbage. I mean,
yeah, pretty much.
As much as I still love the X-Men animated series, the voice acting there was just absolute garbage.
Oh, I think you're being a little picky, Brett, because 10 years before that, things were a lot worse. We had He-Man and G.I. Joe and just the worst fucking cartoons ever imaginable. They were horrible cartoons. The best one was Star Blazers, and I think that was sort of an American-based anime. But most cartoons back in my day, when I go back and look at, they're just garbage. They're horrible.
Like, I remember
Skeletor and all. Oh my god, it was.
I remember watching Land Before Time as a kid, like religiously, like destroyed that VHS.
The Slee Stacks.
Went back and watched it again. Crap.
It is garbage. Land of the Lost. Is that what you're talking about? Land of the Lost?
Land Before Time.
Oh, no, I'm talking about Land of the Lost. That had the Slee Stacks. Cartoons are trash these days. Yeah, I think cartoons have been trash since about the 50s.
The cartoons are trash. Well, no, there were some out of the 90s that are phenomenal. So the cartoons now suck because they've got that whole what's the name of that art style? They've it's the Cartoon Network art style, but I mean it's named something and I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, sweaty asshole. That's what it's called.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, 90s had shit like had decent stuff like Gargoyles. It had the X-Men show. Had Tick.
It had Ninja Turtles, dude.
Ninja Turtles were 80s and 90s, but yes.
That's horrible. That shit was horrible.
I was legit for the time.
All right, whatever. I was in college. I didn't have time for that jackassery. All right. What do we got? We got anything before we start hitting the show topics here? 15 minutes in. Your kids need to be they need to be slapped.
Honestly.
Spanked.
Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Oh, we got some transfer news in the news.
No.
Derek's favorite topic outside of answering Twitter questions is handling Twitter rumors.
I don't think they're rumors. I think it's typically called bullshit. All right, Chelsea view Manchester United winger Jadon Sancho as the ideal replacement for Pulisic and Todd Bowley. Well, good luck getting him out of Manchester United's hands. Who cares? They're not going to get him. They'd be stupid to let go of Sancho. And it's kind of almost a like for like, so I don't know what
Well,
the big deal is there.
United has expressed interest of getting Pulisic on a loan, so it's possible that there could be a
swap.
You give me them, I'll give you him. Yes, maybe.
I don't know why that would happen, but okay. And Todd Bowley will sanction a move for the 22-year-old once the club have managed to offload the American international. Well, they better be breaking out the wallet because they're going to need a lot of money to get Sancho out of Man United. Why would he leave there? Why would Man United let him leave?
He's only been there for one season now?
Yeah,
or the second one?
Okay.
He still has quite a bit on his – I guarantee he's still got quite a bit of it on his contract. So it'd be a hefty transfer.
On a scale of 1 to 10 with this rumor, I would rate this a 1. I.e. total shithole, a dirty shithole that needs to be cleaned. This is a bad rumor. Do not follow this rumor. Do not read it. Do not care about it. Do not try to make sense of it because it doesn't make sense. So there's no point in trying to make sense of it because you're just justifying its existence. So I give this one a big, fat, fucking furry F. An F. This is sounds like somebody just pulled this right out of their asshole.
That's a lot of F's. Derek, what is it when you use a lot of the same letters for words?
Alliteration.
Alliteration. It's a nice alliteration there, Derek.
Mm-hmm.
Big, fat, furry F, which imagine stands for fuck, right?
That's correct. Yes. Fuck this tweet. All right.
So speaking of Manchester United and Chelsea, although I don't have the rumor up right now, and we may have talked about this already, but both teams, along with Arsenal, along with Inter, along with Milan, along with your mom, have expressed interest in Musa.
Well, my mom just sexually. Not an actual interest in because she doesn't have a soccer team. But yeah, I mean, all those are believable to me, honestly, but they're believable. But can we wait a second? Because, I mean, if they're going to be all these teams bidding, you might as well count in or out if Arsenal are really serious about bringing him back.
Well, I purposely took Juventus off because there's no way that they're going to get him because they're probably going to get relegated again here.
Well, they're going to have those legal issues on them again. So
they're already dealing with financial issues that bringing on another player, especially amidst of an entire board, jumping ship.
Yeah. When a whole board jumps ship,
if that doesn't express some level of guilt, I don't know what does.
it may not even be guilt. It's just guilt by association, right? Yeah. They know something is wrong. If you had doubts, you're like, okay, there's an investigation, but I think we'll be fine. I don't think we're doing anything that bad. But no, if you're like, oh fuck, the investigation is starting, and you guys know all the bad shit we did. Yeah, let's jump ship right now.
Here's some more transfer news.
Antonio Banderas. Are you in movies still?
Famous actor watching our show. Love it. Happens to be an LA Galaxy fan too.
He's aged really poorly though, and he turned green. Yeah. Can't believe my LA Galaxy gonna sign Aaron Long. Well, I mean, what else are they gonna do? Go to Europe and buy an aging center back who's 39 years old. Hey, there's Tim Ream. Get him. He's only 35. But listen, you guys all know this one position MLS doesn't spend any money on at all is center back. You're not going to see a whole lot of big names coming over to play center back for in an MLS team. I think the last time that was tried was in the New York Red Bulls, and we all know how that turned out.
Well, I'm facing
certain Mexican center back.
Yeah, Chiellini. Chiellini? Jesus, am I pushing that? Is it Chiellini?
Chiellini.
Yeah.
Chiellini.
Came over.
Chiellini. Yeah, he came over, but he's not a starter.
Is he not?
No. By the end of the season, he was not starting.
Why the fuck would you pay for him if you're not going to start his ass?
He just wanted to move here for the sun.
Okay, but my point is, why would you pay for him to move over here and not play him?
They didn't know how over the hill he really was.
I guess there's a reason. There's a reason why he wasn't playing every game in and out for Juventus. Is because he's aged, but it was still a solid center back.
Can I say another word to you? Gareth Bale. He was not a starter for LAFC either. So you got to wonder what's going on over there And let's see.
I feel there has to be some way of funneling money. They're doing something. There's some kind of money scheme going on over there. They're willing to pony up all that money for a player that doesn't play.
Will Ferrell has an offshore account. They just pump all that stuff into. Nah, he wouldn't do that.
No.
All right. I like Will Ferrell.
Is he not a DP really? Did they get him? Did they buy his contract down with Gamtam, or did he just accept a small amount so he can live on the luxury Pacific Coast?
He does not like another man having sex with him at the same time with the same woman. So,
well, yeah.
DP. By the way.
I know who you're at. Yeah. I thought you were referring to isn't. So
he is not. No, he does not like that, and he did. No, they didn't even offer it to him. It was more about other opportunities, and coming over here, he could turn into a coach, a manager.
It's the Devil's Three-Way to do.
Yes. All right. What else we got? Are we ready to start the topics?
Oh, hell nah. We got stuff to talk about.
Okay. What else?
Boom. Let's talk about this. So, Michael says Olympics don't matter to national team success. And Jonathan asked, what do y'all think about this, guys?
I'm failing to find evidence that it does. It didn't really help Mexico to have Olympic success. Hasn't really helped anybody that I can remember.
I guess when it comes to Mexico, let's be frank here. I mean, in order to do well in the Olympics, you have to be a U-23 squad, and Mexico called up all aging farts.
I think they learned their lesson in '78, Brad. No, I don't know if it matters. I don't think it hurts. And in that case, I'd say, of course, the Olympics are going to happen. So let's at least make the Olympics. It can't experience itself. Can't harm you. It can't harm us. It can only do us good. Is it going to change the way the rest of the world views American soccer? If we win the Olympics or competitive? No, it's not. Because it didn't change the world's view on Mexican soccer. All right? Because we got more people over there than they do in Europe.
So my take on that and all of the youth tournaments, I mean, the U20s, the U17s, success in winning those does not equate to senior squad success by any means.
No.
Especially with the younger. Like this U17, a lot of players are still developing at that point. I mean, you still have players who are incredibly quick at that point. That's why you see like a lot of the Nigerian or whatever teams do incredibly well with the youth squads because they're all insanely fast. And then you have time as players adapt, and this is the same thing I've told all the kids I've coached at the younger levels. I'm like, it doesn't matter what the results are because coaches will play like some very physically fit players that'll just run the score up. But as long as you continue to develop, you'll eventually catch up to their physical level.
Well, case in point, go back through all of the past Youth World Cups. Let's do whatever, U19s. I don't care. Do U21s. Whatever you want to pick.
U21s? What is this, Europe?
You pick them. You pick the Youth Cup. But all I'm saying is go back through the German teams. Go back through the Italian teams, the French teams over the last 30 years, even the Argentinian teams. The number of kids out of that 23-man squad that ever play for the fucking actual grown man, hairy, bald team is like 2 or 3.
And then it's funny because you brought up like the big teams, Argentinians, Germany's, all that stuff. The funny thing is you can even go back and look at the U.S. for the most part.
Yeah, same thing.
Now, mind you, this World Cup squad's a bit different. I mean, we have half of our starting lineup played together in the youth squads going up.
It's a rare.
It is very rare. I mean, if you go back through the history, through all the World Cups, only 2 players from each cycle really contributed to the national team. For the most part, 2 or 3. There may have been some players that got some playing time here and there, but no. The big thing to point out here is that youth teams, the youth national teams, again, they have to pick the players who are really good at that point. And as they progress and they age, all of their competition adjusts and they basically catch up on the physical level, but then they may have more of the technical side. It's a crapshoot, really. You're really taking a small portion of a large population and saying, these are my 23 because, well, they're a lot better now at the age of 16. But then who the fuck knows what's going to happen when they turn 19? 3 more years of development.
Think of the Danny Zutala and Freddie Aduke generation and how highly all of those players were regarded and how many of them amounted to a fucking chipmunk's goddamn diarrhea turd.
Well, Danny might have, but he got in too many bar fights.
Yeah, and he got injuries too, right?
Definitely plagued it. And hell, we're sitting on a number of players that are in Europe right now that everybody had extreme high hopes on that are either just now starting to really kind of step it up finally or whittling down to like the 4th division in Luxembourg,
Yeah.
So it is an extreme potluck. Now the U23s are a bit different. So the Olympics are a bit different because you at least understand, you at least know like how developed certain players are going to be at that point. And what's nice about the Olympics in this sense, and us not qualifying for the Olympics didn't hurt, didn't help. I mean, it sucks because those are competitive matches, and I would love to have had those competitive matches for some of those players in those in between cycles that fucking sucked. Or we had like a 5-year gap window where nobody really played a factor at all. That would have been nice to have some competitive matches in there.
I mean, you're basically talking about a whole era, a whole generation, which we call the black hole generation, also known AKA as the Breck Shea generation. We don't have, what do we have? One player who's 26, Zimmerman, that started?
Wow, I can't even go back that far.
And Ream's 35, so he's the generation before Zimmerman. Yeah. But the Breck Shea generation, which is between the ages of 31 and 27, which should be the majority of your starting lineup, that age group, if you're having a good generation in a World Cup. You should be around, those should be the high-end guys. You should have some young guys too, so it balances out to about 25, 24 average age or whatever. But I mean, shit, we got nobody on this team. If Grandpa Ream wasn't on the team's average age would have dropped like a rock because 35 is like twice as old as some of these kids. So there you go.
So we got some names popping up in the chat.
Sal Zizzo, remember him? Yep, played many years in Portland. Santino Quaranta did not last, not even as a pro. Gideon Zalam's a really good one because Mr. John Hurt, was very high on Gideon Zalam at one point, and he has really never recovered from that injury. So I read a Bleacher Report article, says Chris Gary from 2012 today, that said Freddie Adu was the 40th best player in U.S. men's national team history.
Hold on,
so let me say something about.
Funny as fuck, though.
Let me just say something about Bleacher Report for a second. They asked me many years ago to write an article. I wrote an article for them on soccer, and it was actually good. And they critiqued and sent it back to me and said, "Can you make these changes?" They basically want to turn my soccer article, which had lots of interesting information, into a horseshit article, which canceled out all the actual real information people need to know. And I said, fuck you, no. I've been doing this for 15 years. You can suck my cock. I wouldn't write for you guys ever again.
Suck my dick.
I was a little sensitive maybe in my response to them, but I basically said, you just ruined what was a really good article with your edits. And no, don't publish it. I don't want anything to do with you ever again. Anyhow, that was Bleacher Report. I just want to watch Diego Luna bite someone because it's going to happen. I don't know.
It is.
I don't think he's that kind of player.
Just Frank wants to know whatever happened to Santino. Santino was a journeyman throughout MLS.
I thought he got into gay porn.
Could have.
I'm Santino Quaranta.
Played for about 10 years or so with throughout MLS. So I don't know. I don't know what he's doing now.
I don't either. I came here to massage your balls.
We had Breck Shea pop up here.
Yeah, Breck Shea's one of the big examples of failures.
One of the new ones here.
Ulis Lannis. Well, I know. I think
What about Soto?
here's the thing, and I'm not saying this is a general thing, but when smaller players like Lannis go to Europe, you have to wait longer usually to figure out if they're going to get, and he's a very technical player, and it's pretty physical over there in most of the leagues. So, yeah,
I mean,
don't
hell,
know.
look at Mendez. It took him a couple years to really get settled.
Yeah, but he's a better player than Lannis.
Sure. Ledesma would have been settled, but suffered 2 years worth of injuries in 3 years. So that sucks.
And who was the other guy?
Ruben.
Yeah.
Soto.
Oh,
our number one player.
Total fucking
Soto
disaster.
Fans here.
God, he should take up modeling like his buddy at Bruges.
Yeah. I was going to go with I went with like the 4th division Luxembourg, but
he's in the first division in Austria, and he's yet to play a single fucking minute.
Well,
for
I mean,
the team.
he could barely get time at the 18th place Scottish Premier League team.
Correct. He could not get time for them either. Yeah. No, it wasn't Aberdeen. Fuck. Anyhow, yeah, he couldn't play for
something,
them.
wasn't it?
St. Mirren, maybe?
Something like that? Yeah.
I don't know.
Regardless, somebody will have it in the chat.
Who cares? He barely played.
Ultimately, it was Livingston?
It was Livingston.
Yeah.
That's correct. And he did get some off the bench moments, but
no.
Much.
Well, yeah, if you're not starting there, man, got a rough time ahead of you. But yeah, I guess
he plays for Klagenfurt, I believe. Klagenfurt in the Austrian First Division, and when the last I looked, which is right before the World Cup, he had to play a fucking second. Now maybe he's injured, or he's got his
pride maybe is.
He's got a long mole on his nuts. They go all the way down to his ankles. They have to remove. I don't know.
Chambers goes, that sounds like a sneeze.
What, Soto?
Klagenfurt.
Yes. It sounds like a naughty word, Austrian word for tits. Oh, baby, come look at my Klagenfurts.
They're drooping down by my knees. I don't know what that was.
They're drooping down to your knees. Maybe that's a specific type of Austrian boob. The ones that drop to their knees are called Klagenfurts because they're so near the Klagens.
There's clearly not enough push-up for those. Yeah.
Yes. So they hang
but
down.
Yeah, I guess
ultimately
finish this conversation. Youth tournaments are nice in the sense that it gets players more competitive games, but it's not the be-all, end-all. I would love it if we qualified for all of them, and we generally do for the U17s, U20s. It's just been 12 years since the Olympics, and it just so happens during that 12-year period we had a dead spot in our quality of production of players.
I'm just going to say,
I don't know.
Yeah, World Cup. I mean, Olympics are nice if we make them. If we don't make them, it certainly does not affect my ejaculatory system. I am good to go still. All right, so I don't think you should worry about it. It's nice when we're there, but I don't think it has a major, really corresponding effect on later years for the national team.
Well, you also take into consideration we're looking at a U20s coming up here, and guess what? Ricardo Pepi is qualified and can play in that U20 tournament.
Well, he's not.
Will he? He's not going to.
No, of course not. Not after this rejection.
No, yeah, no. He'll be playing with whatever preseason with whatever club he's going to be with at that point. Will he be back at Augsburg? Who knows?
He was still in Holland.
He's still in Holland, yeah, but he'll be back at Augsburg unless they sell him or anything like that. You know?
Yeah, but he's got a whole half a season to go still.
Sure. No, 100%. Hell, his quality of production so far in this last half season is enough to warrant a transfer somewhere.
You meant it's meant enough to warrant a call up to the World Cup? Is that what you meant to say?
Yeah. I was watching. I was reading through a couple comments from people, and I'll never be able to find this thread again. But this one guy was basically saying because they were saying well, Verhalter decided to play Reyna at a false nine, despite the fact that he's never played Reyna at a false nine ever.
Never.
And another guy responded, he's like, well, that's because none of our nines scored. And then somebody's like, well, what about Pepe? What about PFOC? What about both of those? And you go through lists. And the guy responded back saying, like, Pepe hasn't scored in ages. And I'm like, what? He hasn't scored in ages.
Do your research, asshole.
Maybe he meant for the national team, but come on.
But who has as a 9 for the national team?
Well, Haji Wright has, apparently.
Penalty kick?
No. He had a World Cup goal against Holland.
Yeah, the one that came off his heel. Yeah,
Whoops.
on accident. Woo!
I did it on purpose, guys. I did it. Yeah. I always told people, like, whenever a goal was scored and it was on accident, you always take ownership to it. Always.
That one's a little hard, Brad.
On purpose, motherfuckers.
That is a little hard to do on that one. If you took ownership of that, everybody looking at you like, really?
Did you really?
Seriously?
Let's see you try to do that again.
I mean, come on.
My plan was to happen to hit the outside of my foot, pop up over the defender and the goalkeeper, go far post. Perfect. 100%.
Wasn't born yesterday.
All right. So jumping off of the youth tournaments, we're going to go right into another tournament we have coming up this summer.
Yes.
And that's the Gold Cup. So the Gold Cup does not interfere with the Euro preseason as much. Will our A team or most of our A team participate?
After watching Pete's stream last night, ew. Is he doing that live now? I'm wondering the Gold Cup.
Only for members. Only for members.
This is
a members-only stream. You're all welcome.
I didn't know Pete was into that. All right.
Ricky.
Will our A team or most of our A team participate in a Gold Cup 2023? I'd say some will and some won't. It's hard to say right now. Depends on whether or not we have a new manager. If we do, probably yes. If we don't, then Greg will just fuck around and do whatever he wants to do. But we usually bring a pretty strong team to most Gold Cups, unless the players in Europe, are in situations they usually come and play with us.
They do usually come.
They do. Except for Pulisic, only on his own stomach.
In cycles past, the first Gold Cup would always include our A squad because that Gold Cup always played out to whoever was going to go to the Confederations. Obviously not a factor anymore.
Black hole, yes.
The reason last year's cycle was so janked is because we had to fit Nations League, we had to fit World Cup qualifying, and we had to fit Gold Cup all in a year and a half. So in that sense, if we brought all the players into Nations League, there was no way in hell that Berhalter was going to be able to get anybody back for the Gold Cup that was going to be bleeding into the preseason. So now we're no longer in a janked system here where we have all 4 years to really complete everything. No, this first Gold Cup, I would imagine, whether it's Berhalter or the new manager, is going to be pretty much bringing in an A team, barring injury, of course. Mm-hmm. That's always a factor.
Or circumstance in Europe.
Or a circumstance, yeah. And then probably mix in sprinkle in a couple of players like a Mihailovic or a Vasquez or something like that.
Yeah, Taylor Booth.
That's a great example.
Yeah. So, I don't.
Ooh, how about Matthew Hoppe on the wing again?
Yes, bring it. Make it happen. Hey, Matthew, get some playing time at Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
Just saying. Make it happen.
Come on, boy.
Make it happen.
Do it.
I know you're getting some minutes at the end of games now, which is a lot better than you playing on there.
It's a step up in the direction, but I don't know.
Well, it's better than early in the season. He's playing on the Twinkie team.
I guess I just don't understand what's happening there. And obviously we're not there at practices and stuff like that or what's happening. But, man, having watched him during the Gold Cup, I can't fathom that he can't find playing time at a championship level.
I can't either. I haven't talked.
This might be one of those players the hills we die on, but
yeah. Well, I still think he's gonna. I think he's still gonna come out of this somehow. Yeah,
he'll work his way up eventually.
Yep.
He might not be a 3-cycle guy, but he might be there for a cycle or two.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
He's young, as you said.
But yeah, it's nice that we have the Gold Cup in the 23. We have Copa 24.
Yep.
And we're sharing that summer along with the Olympics. So that's going to be interesting. It'll be nice to see, because one thing this cycle is going to be a problem for is finding competitive games to play.
No, it is going to be a huge problem.
Massive problem. We have Nations League. We have Gold Cups. Thank goodness we have Copa. So maybe it is God sent that we have the Olympics.
This is so bad, Brett. For 4 years, we're going to have one tournament. Now, 4 years, we're going to have one tournament in which we'll play actual, maybe some real competition. Maybe we'll play Argentina or Brazil or Uruguay. But outside of that, because of fucking Nations League, this super stupid made up bullshit, we're going to be stuck playing fucking Costa Rica for the next 4 years.
So, hopefully, Costa Rica is going to be in the midst of World Cup qualifying. So, here's two solutions here. Maybe
El Salvador.
They'll be in the assuming they qualify to the whatever. Well, assuming Mexico, Canada, and U.S. are not going to be qualifying for World Cup qualifying, because we already qualified technically. El Salvador will probably be in the hex. It's going to be a hex at this point. And it's definitely not going to be octagonal, because who the fuck's going to be in that?
Are they fighting for one spot?
Has to be. And how is that going to work out? No, it's an expanded
48
World Cup. Yeah. So maybe 2 spots, I guess. I don't know. Maybe 1.5.
3? Maybe 2.5. Yeah, 2.5.
I don't know. It's gonna be really crazy to see what happens during that qualifying process. But here's United States, Mexico, and Canada on the outside looking in, going we don't have any games to play. So again, one of two things are going to happen. Does Asia and Africa, do they have a Nations League? So maybe we can, or even South America, maybe we can scrounge up some games in there somewhere. Yes. Do something with something.
Make a tournament. Yep.
Otherwise, you've got to take every window. It's going to be Mexico, Canada, and United States all playing in one location. Whoever wins that window, the next window, those games are going to be over there.
Yeah, I think in the Gold Cup, we need to invite Australia and Japan and even Saudi Arabia, maybe Korea.
We need to do something, man.
We do. Invite Senegal, but invite fucking Morocco or Tunisia. I mean, Morocco.
It's funny because it's funny because we joke around about qualifying in CONCACAF. Oh my goodness, we're playing on go patches. But now we're looking on the outside, looking in, going, man, we really need to scrounge up some games here, because we're competing for qualification. There's no actual competition going on here.
Right. But the problem is that they'll be qualifying in Africa going on. They'll be qualifying in Asia going on. They'll be qualifying in South America. Yeah. It's going to make it really hard to find people to play that don't suck or are mediocre. And we need to stop playing mediocre people. In this next 4 years, we need to be playing really good teams. And I don't know where you come up with such a team when we got Nations League and qualifying fucking everybody over. Most of those 4 years. So I'm sure they'll figure out how to slide something in there because they got KY. But yeah, they got to.
I'm sure they. Oh, that's weird.
Extreme close up.
That's weird. Let's not do that, guys. Oh goodness. So
has anybody mentioned these 2 very wet cocks on my chest? Green ones.
No, I haven't seen anybody talk about the cocks on your chest, Eric.
Yeah, it's not. It's Reebok.
That's only for you. That's apparently that's going to be talk for your OnlyFans only.
I just
if you haven't paid for Derek's OnlyFans, he does have a feet only OnlyFans.
No, I do not.
He records himself, jerking off, but only recording his feet.
No, not true. Not true.
Yeah.
See, look.
What's he doing?
Anyhow, yeah, that's a weird that the Reebok symbol looks like 2 cocks on the top coming together. Never really thought about that.
Did they change your logo? Because I don't remember this triangle logo for anything Reebok.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
And they're oddly shaped cocks. They more look like wet cucumbers, but oddly shaped ones.
They at an angle.
Yeah, Peyronie's disease.
Like it goes up and then whoop.
Whoop. All right.
Pleasure. The line from Ted Lasso. I bring this up a different line, but every show I've had Ted Lasso line, but where Roy's talking about, it's like, and then some people in the tabloids talking about how my dick has a curve in it, and she does it really have a curve in it? He goes, no, it's just how I angle it while doing having sex. Man, it just feels like it. But curve of the dick. Yeah.
All right, Peyronie's. It's okay to have it. It can be treated as well. But
Derek,
some of the side effects are worse than the solution.
Either you're part of the problem or you're part of the solution. What's your contribution to life? So Derek,
yes.
Did you know that tight shirt, our good friend tight shirt Twillen?
Oh,
I say good friend, but
yeah, not really.
He's never responded to me. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I mean, I keep talking to him, but he doesn't respond back.
He knows
he's a busy guy. He's a busy guy.
Oh, he knows who we are. He knows he's leagues above us in his mind.
Busy, super busy.
He's not going to hang out with us.
But tight shirt happens to be a One Cycle Club member. I've welcomed him to the club. He says second cycles are very dangerous for ruining momentum because the message becomes stale and complacency settles within the group. Berhalter could, however, be the caretaker for a bit while looking for the next gig, which could be part of this talk.
Well, could be. We'll see. I would, if you ask me, listen, Hercules Gomez gave Berhalter a B for his performance with the national team. And if Berhalter gives him a B, then I'm going to imagine that Ernie Stewart is going to give him an A, and McBride will give him a reach around. And what's her name? And what's her name? Cone, whatever. Huh?
Cone?
Yeah, the
Cone?
The president, yes, of the organization, or the chief executive. She'll be rubbing his shoulders, and I just don't think
there's going to be sitting in the chair going, HR, I need help. Okay, I guess going to Herc's B or B minus or whatever it was. I guess it really depends on it if you're looking at just the World Cup or you're looking at his overall tenure.
I think it'd be overall tenure.
Looking at just the stats, you're like, well, yeah, he won Nations League, he won Gold Cup, he got third in qualifying, and he got out of his group, the only CONCACAF nation to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, well, that sounds pretty good, man. But then for those of us who actually sat down and watched every single game, you're like, yeah, but they weren't that good.
They had a great game versus England.
I think the World Cup, again, I even specified this during our conversation, the World Cup team that we saw was not the same team we saw the previous year and a half to 2 years. Because we got to take out the COVID years, of course.
Yeah, and here's the big issue with Greg. Greg's teams don't score.
Not at all.
Not enough.
At the club level or the national level.
Yeah, this has got to end. We need a new voice. And I'm not even a 4-year guy. I'm not a cycle guy. But I became a believer. All right. After kind of Klinsmann.
Oh. Speaking of Klinsmann, though.
Yeah.
He goes, it was only yesterday when all of you told me a second cycle for Klinsmann was a must.
Who said
they had very similar World Cup experiences, so what gives?
Okay, first of all, that's bullshit. I don't know that. I think it was pretty much split 50-50 on people.
How many people were pissed off with Klinsmann for leaving Donovan off the roster?
Oh, a lot of people were done with him there. Yeah.
That alone, like, no, he doesn't deserve another cycle. He got another one. Fuck.
Yep. And it went poorly. So I don't know what Taylor's talking about. Maybe he's just hanging out in a different crowd than we were.
I said, time to expand your circles, my man.
Yeah, because in our circles, most people were done with Klinsmann.
Yeah, I said plenty of us, including this channel.
Yes. And that's when we still had a show. Yeah. So, yeah.
On the very tail end of our show, too, yes.
It was. Yeah, Klinsmann killed our show.
That shit. we were ahead of our time, Derek.
Yep.
And screw that, not gonna happen, but it is.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm on that 4-year thing. The only time I was really for an extension was Bob Bradley and Bruce Arena, and then anything before that doesn't matter anyhow, really. So, what am I going to sit here and talk about Steve Sampson? No, I'm not going to. So, but I did believe Bob Bradley deserved another go because I thought Bob Bradley was still growing as a manager, whereas I'm not sure if Greg is. I think Greg's what Greg is because Bob was very expansive with his ability to use different formations and tactics depending on who we were playing as an opponent. Whereas Greg is pretty much the opposite. He has a set system. He can adjust, and he's shown he can. But when it comes down to the really big game that mattered against the Netherlands, he did not. So
okay, yes, you basically stole all my talking points there. With Burl. Next topic, guys. Hey.
All right, let's move along. The show will end faster.
So with Berhalter, we went into this World Cup really kind of low morale because it was just constantly trying to take that square peg and shove it into that round hole.
KY.
Ew. And then he comes into the World Cup and he plays a slightly adjusted, different setup.
Yeah.
Where Pulisic checks back a little further and you have more or less a 2-striker on the defense and then the 3 in the attack. So it's more or less the same system, except for it's a little bit different on the build-up getting into the attack.
So
it made a difference. You
did.
Watch those games, and those were actually very entertaining games. Low scoring still, but I think that has to do with some of the players too, because we had opportunities from time to time. But it was a bit of a difference, and that made the difference.
What did we say in the first game over at Chad's house? We're like, he's playing a 3-4-3. Guest is playing a third center back.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It was a totally different look that Greg gave. Game 2, we played 4-4-2 against England. Totally different look. Then we went and played the same 4-3-3 we always play against the fucking Dutch.
Oh, we had the same 3-4-3 against Iran. And
Kinda,
then
yeah.
The 4-3-3. The standard 4-3-3, we had low expectations in going into after the Japan and Saudi Arabia game. We watched our team basically get our asses handed to us. And we're like, something has to change because this is not going to work. And then something changed, and then we reverted back.
Yeah, we did versus the Dutch. And had we scored that early goal, that whole might have worked out for us because we might. It
would have been the Canada in the Gold Cup game where we score that early goal and then we just get our asses handed to us for 90 some odd minutes. Now, hopefully, we can get the ball out of the back of the net like we did against Canada in the Gold Cup. But I don't know. I feel like if we got that early goal, which would have been nice because it would give us a bit of a cushion, I just feel like we probably would have sat back more and it would have hurt.
Maybe. Or we would have played on the counter, which, by the way, we're absolutely incapable of doing. I mean, we are capable. We have the players to do it, but we just don't do it. We've had instances where Moose has carried the ball for 30 yards, and you'll see McKennie do it on occasion, but it's not often enough when we're playing counter ball, which we don't play, so why am I even bringing it up? I don't know. Ask the green cocks on my chest. I don't know.
This takes me back to the whole argument whenever Klinsmann first took over and saying, well, we've got to establish an identity for American soccer. I'm like, no, we've had an identity. We played a lot of counterball soccer. And yes, it's not very flashy. It's not great to watch a team maintain 60, 65% possession and then us have the ball for small bouts or whatever. But it worked. It worked for us. And that was our blue-collar tendencies. And then we change it under Klinsmann. We start trying to go more possession, and then he reverted back to the counter. And then under Berhalter, we went, be confident playing out of the back, be brave. And then what did we do when we went to the World Cup? We kind of reverted back. We still maintained possession. We went very direct, and we put the pressure on the other team. I don't know if the identity was always there, I think, quite frankly. We can always improve on possession, of course, but come on.
Yeah. So should we do the 26 players and go over who's going to stay, who's out, and definitely.
I can tell you one player that's going to stay.
Tim Ream.
Tim Ream, at the age of 35, has no intention of retiring from the national team.
Hey, he might have a couple more good years left in him.
Hey, you know what? If the amount of running he did in this World Cup, he could probably still do that at the age of 39. As a backup. Hopefully at that point, as a backup.
If he continues playing for Fulham in the Premier League, I guess they're going to have to take a look at him because we don't have. I mean, let's assume Chris Richard gets healthy, and he's a good passer between lines. But outside of that, I'm not really thinking. No one's coming to mind right now who's a great passer through the lines, like a really reliable guy who when they hit a 25-yard ball cross field, that shit's ending up at the other player's feet. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't think of another center back we have that does that. Maybe Richards, but we haven't seen enough. Yep.
Thiago Silva.
Yep.
Thiago Silva. Then we have Tim Cellini-Ream. Cellini-Ream?
I think Cellini's.
Chiellini?
I think he might be done. I think he might be done, Cellini. I think that might have been his last season, but we'll see.
But yeah, Chris Gary says EPB and CCB can do it all right.
Do it all right. All right.
All right.
Right? Like I.
Right?
Not.
Oh, not like that. Not like that. Sorry.
Not like on a dime. Not like Tim Ream on the dime. No, I don't think either of them have that ability. And it's something that's unfortunate that because Ream didn't really even have that ability until his early 30s. I mean, we knew he was good at his feet. We always knew he was good at his feet.
I'll say when Ream was at Red Bulls, I was able to notice that he's not like most center backs in the sense that he can actually, split that seam, play that long ball. His passing was his benefit.
Yes, but his tactical vision is so much better now.
Oh, sure. It comes with age.
Yeah, think about his first years with Fulham in the Premier League. You're like, none of that shit was working for him. So, but now, yeah, it's like a fine wine, Tim Ream. He is fine wine. All right, what else we got? You want to go over?
We're branching on to the players, aren't we? Because that's why I brought up.
Let's do 26. Let's do 26, man.
All right. Might as well. Do you have a list?
I don't.
Okay, we're gonna go slowly off memory here because I don't have a list either. So a goalkeeper.
Well, you could just wiki it and look up the 26-man roster.
Fine.
I mean, we could do it from memory. It's not that hard.
We could easily do it from memory.
Yeah. Except for me,
Goalkeeper, we have Matt Turner.
Yeah, he's going to be around 4 years from now, and I'd give him a B+ for the World Cup.
I mean, hard to say anything bad about him, quite frankly.
Not really.
I mean, the only goal scored during group stage was a PK, and he almost got to that.
What are you going to give him, an A-?
Yeah, probably.
All right, that's fine. B+,
I
A-.
mean, all 3 goals against the Dutch were like nothing he could have done for anything. I mean, there's nothing he could have done either on any of those 3.
He scared me a couple times, but other than that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, him dribbling the ball out, scared the living shit out of me.
I thought that was a little unnecessary, frankly.
So, there was one of the games, I forgot what it was. Was it against Holland? But Holden brought up the point, like, one of his teammates at Arsenal said that it may look like he's, kind of like lost out there with dribbling the ball at his feet, but he always seems to manage to get to the player he wants to in the end. And I think it's just part of his psyche, how he plays the game. And and it's like, he looks like he's a mess out there when dribbling with the ball. Like what are you doing? Get the ball off your foot. But he always gets it off. Turner always gets off, guys.
KY. Giggity. Yeah, no, Matt Turner.
Oh, shit. I thought I had this up already. My bad.
I'm thinking he might get a loan eventually. We'll see. Or he'll take starting spot for Ramsdale. We'll see. That's unlikely, but you never know.
Sorry, it's be a second. Pull it up here in just a second.
Excuse me,
There we go.
got a hack. All right. Ethan Horvath might still be around. Sean Johnson's probably done at 37, I think.
He talked about how he wants to continue to contend. But yeah, I'm thinking Johnson's done.
That's like saying when you have cancer that you want to continue to live. Terminal cancer.
Fair enough.
You know, you got to realize
have
at
the
some
mentality.
point, this song is going to end. The record will stop circling around the turntable. And that's the case for Sean Johnson. Let's move down.
Yeah, if he's contending, if he's contending at the age of 35. No, sorry, age of 37. I'm looking at the wrong number there.
The real question here is, what is Stefan's fate? That's the real question. Will Stefan pull this shit together?
Derek, do you have the dice? Do you want to roll the die?
Oh,
I can flip the coin. You want me to pull the coin flip here?
Listen, he looked pretty motivated after not being called up for Middlesbrough. So I don't know if that's going to motivate him further to know he was left off a World Cup where he was the number one all the way through.
Heads or tails that he stays? Or
Stays. That he makes the next team?
Yeah.
I say heads, yes, he does.
Oh, no.
That's bullshit.
That sucks.
All right, let's move down.
Well, that's the point, though. Like, we can sit here and say, like, well, I think Turner is on trajectory to be a contender because he's going to be the number one goalkeeper moving into the next cycle.
I think so.
Stefan has an uphill battle. He has to regain form. He may still be a contender, maybe a second, maybe even be a third string, but you never know what's going to happen. Or if somebody like Slonina pops up, or if somebody else comes out of nowhere, you never know.
Ethan Horvath could go back to riding pine.
Yeah, it's true. He is actually playing. You're right.
Yeah. So this is a rare thing for him to be playing. So Serginho Dest will be there in 2026. Oh, what do we grade him as? I give him a B in the World Cup.
I'm going to give him a B+.
Okay.
No,
I thought he had some great moments.
No, 100%. I thought again, going in, we talked about this in the last stream, but going into the World Cup, everybody was questioning Dest at the right back as far as, keeping that, basically him getting too caught up in the attack and leaving the entire right side wide open for the counter.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, at least for the group stages, he actually sat back a lot more and picked his runs, which I think was much better.
Which was what he was told to do.
Probably, I would agree.
Let's be really honest. That was the way they were set up was the same for the whole match, for that not to be an actual directive from Greg. Walker Zimmerman, B-.
Yeah.
B-.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Really should have won against Wales, but for his dopey decision there.
That's also a great point, because outside of that, I don't know. I don't think he didn't do anything really too terribly.
I give him a B- for that, and also for the fact that it was so obvious that he was told to defer to Tim Ream because
Greg sat him down and said, Walker, you've been a stalwart all qualifier, but you suck at passing. Just give the ball to Ream. He'll do all the distribution.
Yes, I did. I do think that's what happened.
And you think Walker's in there going like, man, okay, fine, I guess.
Yeah, I'm a team player. I'll do it. 99% of the time, his pass was from himself to Ream.
He's looking at that World Cup paycheck going, yeah, I'll pass to him. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
You keep playing me, I'll pass whoever you want to be passed. You want me to pass Turner the entire time? I'll pass Turner the entire time.
I'll do whatever you say, Greg. Jedi, you go first.
Yes, he'll be here.
Yeah, he'll be.
We have no left back contention here. He might be our left back for the next 5 cycles around we're going.
Yeah, exactly.
But Jedi's an interesting one because he started off at a high note. And I thought that he tended to falter later on. Maybe it was because he's getting too tired.
He looked like he was playing on one leg in that last game. So
I don't know. I'm going to go B-.
Yeah, I will too. I thought he could have done better if he was healthy. Everybody knows he's currently playing with an injury, and he's been doing it basically at Fulham too. It's been pretty public. So, and he was gassed on top of that.
He left everything on the field for those first 3 matches, and that match against Holland though is just he got left exposed, and then he took that knock and he got injured, and he still wasn't subbed out.
No, he wasn't.
You know who was subbed out? Des was subbed out.
Yeah, like, the guy that can score a goal.
What happened here? Yeah. Whatever.
The guy that can score goals is the guy you take off. When the other guy is basically on the field, on his back, being attended to by, I don't get that. Tim Ream, I'm giving Tim Ream an A. I thought he was one of the best players that we had during 100%. The World Cup, 100%. And none of the goals were his fault. None.
No, but I think maybe he had like one errant pass, and then you had that game against Holland that clearly his Berhalter told him, "Hey, get the ball out to the right, because we're gonna run that flank the entire game."
Yep.
Because every time he got the ball, he immediately pivoted about 45 degrees, and ran to the right and looked for Dest or Weah. 100% every single time.
Yeah, it became so predictable.
Yeah.
That's not his fault, though. He was obviously told to do that. Aaron Long is not going to be there in 2026. He shouldn't have been here.
Man. Barely, no.
He should have been here for this World Cup. So there you go with that. Shaq Moore will not be here next World Cup. I think
questionable whether or not he should have been here this World Cup.
He shouldn't have been here in this World Cup. That should have been Pepe or Pifak.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, 100%. We don't need 4 right backs. Plain and simple.
The fact that Reyna's tweet today about the World Cup being a disappointment included a picture of him and Scally sitting in their sideline skivvies. Yeah, there you go. That's all you need.
Yeah, you mean you had a guy who ended up bouncing from a second division La Liga team, right?
Yes.
Yeah, second division La Liga team. Ended up coming back to MLS and playing, compared to somebody who's played week in, week out for nearly a year and a half in the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
And
for Gladbach. It's not a small team.
This guy can't get a fucking minute with Berhalter.
Yeah. And I get it.
At least with Reyna, I understand. We have healthy guys. Reyna's coming off this ridiculously long, like almost year-long injury. Sure, maybe you want to take things safe with it. Whatever. But, I mean, Scally not even getting – Des was subbed off every match. Every match.
Yep.
And Scally didn't get a fucking minute.
Nope. Shaq Moore got subbed on twice.
I mean, come on.
Absolute absurdity that happened.
Unreal.
So, yeah. So, Shaq Moore, I gave him a D-.
He didn't do shit. And he was,
He did the opposite of not doing shit. He did bad shit. So there you go.
Not good.
Cameron Carter-Vickers. I'm going to give him a B+ for his one performance in the World Cup.
Yes, it was good. Yep. Very good. It
was very good.
Very good.
Impressed, and he has a good chance of coming back.
Which match was that against? Was it the Iran or was it the
England?
It was England, yeah. Against the top
Iran.
Team.
Iran.
It was Iran. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or Iran. Sorry.
Iran.
Not Iran. DeAndre Yedlin. No, he's not coming back because he's already lost a lot of speed. I was amazed when he had to track back in that last game versus the Dutch. No. When's the last time he played?
He played against Wales.
I thought he came in again after that. I thought he finished another one of the games. But anyhow, I was just surprised about how slow he was. And he was running as fast as he could.
Dude, he took a couple speed is wasted on youth. So whenever he was 17 years old or whatever,
he was so fast.
Super duper ridiculously fast. He's 29 years old at this point.
Mm-hmm.
He's never going to have the pace he had once, which, going to Newcastle, learning how to play defense probably extended his career. Because if he was going to be reliant on his pace his entire career, it was never going to happen.
Pace ends. Yes. So I don't really have a grade for Yedlin. I don't think he played enough.
Not a whole lot, no.
Scally, no grade, obviously, but he will be back, folks, for 2020.
Scally gets an A for me for putting all it up with a smile, watching inferior players go in ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, maybe Berhalter's not going to be coached next year. Maybe.
Hopefully,
no, he's going to be interviewed again.
Well, that's all just all of that. Greg being reported by Jeff Carlisle going to USSF today for a meeting and talks about.
It was going to happen regardless.
Yes, it was. Yeah. It was pre-planned a long time ago.
So I want to hold. I'm going to hold out on hope, and assume that his good friend Casey Keller knows best, and knows that he wants to play back at the club level again, or coach at the club level. I'm sure he wants to play too, but
in the third division of 3 Bundesliga.
Hey, maybe work. Yeah, I've seen him running before games. I mean, he's still got it there.
He could coach 1860 Munich.
He's able to do some volleys and shit. Now I don't know what his game performance would be like, but
no, pretty poor.
But anyways, I'm holding on hope that was Keller dropping that was like really Berhalter's intent. Like, hey,
well,
I did this whole national team thing. I took a lot of fucking heat for it. I kind of want to move back into the club level. I can always come back to the national team later,
No, but, I mean, I hope Keller's right, but Keller did say he has no inside information. He's just shooting from the hip based on what he knows about Greg. So, Genoa has an opening. Also, American owners. I mean, it's possible he could go anywhere, but no, that's not true, Derek. He can't go anywhere. He's not going to any top 15 club in England. He's not. He's not.
I wouldn't want him to. No, I would want him to go to a top side of a lower division team, like again in Austria or even somewhere where he doesn't have all the expectations of just coming in and flat out dominating, and maybe he can develop and grow and then eventually work his way up.
He's not going to get any job of any consequence. I'm just saying it now. There's no way. Anybody that's been watching him coach or manage a team, no. I mean, in his record, it was basically failure at Hammarby, okay stuff at Columbus. Should never have been our national team manager.
I would say that USSF could be looking at it saying like, well, he's getting results and he's cheap, but his contract is like 1.3 mil a year.
Yeah, well, he's going to want more money if they want him to stay.
I'm just saying, though. I mean, I wonder what other coaches command at other national team levels.
Depends on what the country is.
Fair enough.
If you're at Jamaica, you shouldn't expect any more than $100,000 a year for being the manager.
Do you think Perez would take the job if we offered him 1.3?
Yes, but I don't think they're going to offer Hugo Perez the job.
Sure.
But I wouldn't complain if they did, but they're not going to. They don't really know Hugo Perez from a hole in the wall.
Derek, do you know how much we paid Klinsmann? I can't recall.
It was a lot. It was a lot.
USSF, Jurgen Klinsmann.
Salary.
I spelled Jurgen wrong, but 1.475.
Okay. So more than Greg, but keep in
barely
mind.
Pittance.
Yeah,
like
but
a couple pennies. What do I find under the couch? How about another couple thousand? Couple thousand?
Yeah, but inflation.
Fair enough. That's a great point. Inflation is bitch.
So let's go down. Tyler Adams gets an A for me. You know what? He would have had an A plus, except for his lollygagging on that goal.
He stole it from me there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was absolutely player of the World Cup for me for the most part. Until Holland. That first half. Second half was better, but first half was still.
Yeah, he blew it.
That mattered right there. That's a big whoops.
He blew it. And if you want to know what we mean by he blew it, go back and watch our review of the Holland game.
We got a nice response from Berlin saying best show ever.
Yeah, I mean, we really mapped out all the different positions we did, screenshot by screenshot, showing you what happened, broke down all the goals and who was at fault. Yeah, because, some people would say, oh, it's a team that lost. No, sometimes individual players fall asleep and they need to be held accountable. And the first goal was all on Tyler Adams.
100%.
Yep. Yunus Musa. I'm gonna give him a B plus. I did hope for more from him. Maybe B plus.
I'd say
somewhere around
B
there.
plus range.
Yeah.
It's one of those things like I was expecting more, but I actually saw more from the guy below him, Weston McKennie.
Yeah, I did too. And I think
I think Weston's more of a B plus for me.
Weston was taken off at the 65th minute or before in every game. Yunus played every fucking minute,
and that
it
could be
looked like it.
Yes. By the time we got from Holland, MMA was gassed. I mean, obviously McKinney was gassed because he's not in 90-minute match form by any means.
Right.
But MMA was just gassed when it came to Holland at that point.
Right.
So again, of the three, Adams was standout. He did great this World Cup up until Holland. Yeah. I thought Weston played great throughout the World Cup. I think Yunus played well. I expected more, but maybe that was it's one of those things like if you don't hear midfielder's name, is it really a bad thing?
Sometimes it is, yeah.
But I think there were a number of times where he got on the ball and he maintained possession that the name never came up and you never heard much of it. But he didn't do anything really bad.
He didn't. I thought he was really good versus England. Really good. And then pretty darn good versus Iran. But he did look gassed to me.
Oh yeah.
In that last game. He
still played like the total like the 110 minutes that we played that match too.
Yeah.
The whole fucking thing.
Yeah. But too much. Maybe too much for a guy that young.
Well, and it's one of those things like, well, you know, we could have subbed more than just one player out, Weston. You know,
we could have done De La Torre.
Could have brought in De La Torre. You know, we could have brought in Reina into the midfield. I mean, and then go to a double pivot. Keep Weston in one game, push him back, or sub him out and push him back and play double pivot with Adams. I feel like Adams could go the full 90 every match because he does that shit with Marsh week in, week out. I think he was probably the only one that was really fit for that shit.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler did not look that exhausted out of the three.
Shouldn't be, but
Tyler looked the most not blown by the end. And I'm not saying that he's not attractive and that women don't want to get with him. All right, Brendan Aronson.
You know why? Again, another. What's the fuck? I'm spacing the fucking show now. Ted Lasso reference when he's like,
another one.
He's like, he's like the presenting the whistle, and I can't remember the guy's name because I'm straight to much already. But he's like, this whistle is sad, and you know why it's sad? He's like, no. He goes, because it has not been blown. He goes, oh, is that why he's sad? And points to Colin is sad. You know.
Was that a Colin Reese joke?
No. It was
okay.
Different Colin guy.
All right. I thought, man, Colin hasn't been around long these days. So anyhow, Brendan Aronson. Let's give him again, kind of a B minus B. It just didn't feel like he made much of a difference, although he ran all over the fucking place.
I'm fine with giving him a CC plus.
Okay.
Again, he's not, and I don't know if it's a system per se, because again, with Marsh, he plays in a 4-2-3-1 as a 10.
He plays a 10, correct?
And here he's being thrown in at the 8 or less, and
or
minus
as a winger,
Pulisic, minus the Pulisic replacement.
Right.
But I feel like the way that we play just doesn't pull out the Brendan Aronson that we see week in, week out with Leeds. You know.
Yeah. It doesn't pull out something for sure.
And, you know, yes, he got bodied off a bit. And there's definitely some refs that let shit fly and some refs that didn't. And you kind of hope with a player like Brendan, who's going to be taking players on that are going to take hits, that the ref is going to actually kind of try to protect some of those type of players. But here in the World Cup, I mean, they kind of let that shit fly. And that didn't work out in his favor.
In certain games, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Luca De La Torre did not get to play, but I'm guessing he will be back. Get the fuck out of Celta Vigo, motherfucker, now. Christian rolled on. Nope, goodbye. That's your last World Cup. Kellen Acosta, probably yours too. Goodbye.
We got another option in the ranks at the 6 at this point. So
yeah. Kellen Acosta grade, impossible to grade him. played one game, I believe. Right?
Yeah, and that was he played a couple.
Did he?
Yeah, he had a couple of bad plays, but then he had that one play where he did a tactical foul that stopped a counter that drew a yellow.
Oh, he played the first 2 games, I believe.
Yeah, and it was like that was. I remember telling you during the match actually, because I said that was the best thing he's done on the field.
Yes, it is.
Was fouling
it was.
him. That was the best play.
When it gets to the point when my mom says, "Who's coming in?" and I say Kellen Acosta, and she goes, "Oh no." Okay, then you know something's up. All right, not him, she says.
No, just look at these numbers on the caps. I mean, oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
All right. So a C for Kellen Acosta because nothing.
C minus. I'll go C minus.
All right.
I'm gonna be the pessimist here.
All right. That's weird. All right. No. Gio Reyna. I can't give him a grade. He only got to play 30 minutes. So 45 in one game, and the other game was so little few minutes.
Yeah.
No chance.
It's hard to grade, I guess, but I mean, going off of that though, I made a couple comments about Gio's play in the sense that he did 2 things that really stood out to me in that 45 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
He did a play where he got the ball, he was in the ballistic position type of thing at that point, you know, on the left-hand side. And instead of just getting the ball and then just ripping across the box, hoping somebody's there, he cut it back, he looked, picked up his head, he looked, and he saw somebody, I forgot, it was McKinney, running towards the PK, passed the ball on the ground to him, and kicked the ball over the goal, of course.
Yeah.
But that's one thing that I'm hoping that Jedi learns to do is not be so anxious on getting the ball off your foot, but instead turning and looking for that easy pass into the box because his crosses suck donkey balls. Yes. But what he's good at is cutting it back and looking for the drop pass. But that's one thing that Reyna did more so than any of our other winger options, that he was controlled and composed enough to look for a man and place the ball to him. You
just used the key word. He was composed.
Composed, yes. And that was the other thing too.
He didn't lose the ball constantly like what's his fart Ferreira. You know, when the ball came to him, he was calm on the ball. He looked for the best pass, or if there wasn't one there, he moved it around.
A man a bit, yeah.
I mean, he was a pro, man. He was a top flight pro.
Yeah. The other thing that stood out to me in that 45 minutes was his ability to, again, get the ball, lift his head up, look, notice that Jedi was wide open on the left because he was on the right at this point, and lace a nice 30-yard change of play ball.
Yep.
To his foot. You know, it's like, bam, right there. And it's like, that's what we're missing.
Yeah.
You know, we can move the ball around, do the whole, you know, but it's just that quick change of play. You know?
Change of fields. Yeah. I guess if I had to give him a grade for those 45, I'd give him an A or an A minus.
I'll say B plus A minus range. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But it just sucks that we were limited to 45 minutes plus a little bit in the first match.
Got to be one of Greg's later on in life's worst regrets.
That's one of his big blunders in this World Cup. That player management in general. That's my biggest issue with him.
Second half player management was awful.
100%.
Jesus Ferrer gets an F. He was horrible.
Didn't do shit.
His 45 minutes were atrocious. He was atrocious. I could blame some of it on Greg for setting him up to be atrocious.
He's playing against center backs who are like a foot and a half taller than he is.
Yeah.
I mean, that was never going to work.
Who aren't that much slower than he either, if not slower than him.
And on top of that, what else do we do when we get the ball? We take it out wide. We look for the cross in. But we're looking to Ferreira for that cross. So
he did break the record for shitting his pants the most during a World Cup. So we got to give him credit for that.
I feel so bad for the guy, man.
I do. He's a nice kid.
He's 21. He might pull it out in the end, I guess.
But
there's a lot of pulling out going on in this conversation.
I know. No, I don't think he gets to pull it out anymore. I think he needs to tuck it in and just go back to playing in MLS. And by the way, no, if he goes to play in Europe, which he's not going to, as far as I understand, anytime soon, it'll be on a very small team. He gave him he had a platform to show the world that he was a composed kid, and he went out and shat his drawers. Every time he touched the ball, he lost possession. Go look at the stats.
Mm-hmm.
It's embarrassing.
Well, Derek, Jesus played the same number of games that Reyna has played, and he scored more goals. So clearly, he's the better option, right?
Yeah, sure. I guess.
I personally, I think I'm kind of surprised that Reyna's actually played 16 matches for the U.S. That kind of blows my mind.
Yeah. He did not play in the 9 either, and he didn't get to play in those games when he was injured versus all those minnows in the Caribbean either. So,
what? Yeah.
Nor the minnows in the Hex. So there you go.
I mean, all of Jesus' goals came from a Camp Cupcake and a Nations League minnow. That's where 95% of his goals came from.
Yeah, come on, people. We told you what was going to happen if Jesus got to play in this World Cup. I told you he's a mental fucking wreck who does not have his shit together. He's even admitted it himself. He gets down on himself. He has one bad play in a game and he falls apart. That's why he has a psychiatrist assigned to him at Dallas to get him through these moments. This is not the guy you bring to the World Cup and play against the Netherlands, for Christ's sake.
I don't know what that was all about, man.
This is stupidity.
Like I said, you either have to change a formation or play Haji at that point. I mean, Haji's. I mean, not saying that Haji was great, but I mean, we'll get to that too. But at least he's coming into it, kind of overconfident, if you will. I mean, he's scoring goals for his club.
Well, that didn't show versus the Netherlands, that's for sure.
He scored a goal against the Dutch. What are you talking about?
Yes.
It didn't look. He definitely didn't show it against England, is what he didn't show.
That score, his goal is like, okay, let's say you go to a party, right? And it's in a cabin in the woods, and you got 18 of your friends, and we're all sharing 6 different beds together. And you wake up in the morning with a woody, and you roll over, and boom, you accidentally penetrate the chick right next to you. That's what that goal was.
I scored, guys! I scored.
Then you just got to pull that shit out real fast and say, "Oh my God, I'm sorry. I rolled right into you. My bad."
Touchdown!
But by the way, I did just fuck you. Go!
Was it good for you? No? Oh. This is good for me, though.
Oh, my. Come back. All right. Your accident was good. All right. Christian Pulisic. I'm going to give him a B, maybe B minus, B. I thought he was good, he did give us goals and he got the assists and all that, but I just felt like there's still something not quite right with him. Something is just a bit off. His fucking corner set piece taking was atrocious. That's a letter grade drop right away.
I'm giving him a B+, but yes, I agree 100% that his set pieces are absolute garbage, and it still boggled my mind that when Reyna was in, Pulisic was still taking them.
When Acosta was in, he was still taking them.
Doing?
What are we doing? Yes, this is insanity. Christian Pulisic should not be taking set pieces at Chelsea. He shouldn't be taking them for the United States men's national team. He shouldn't be taking them at the YMCA. He is not good at them.
You know where I want Pulisic on set pieces? I want him on far post. That's where I want him. I want him running the far post for those balls that happen to get through.
I'd say you could put him on the near post too. He did that for Chelsea. He used to play the near post, scored some goals that way.
Yeah.
One.
Well, I mean, we don't play a player near post. What are you talking about, Derek? Otherwise, we might actually have success with some of the Pulisic's free kicks because that's exactly where the ball went every single time.
Exactly. We never get past the first dude. So atrocious free kick.
We pay a set piece coach. We have a coach that's brought in just to do that. And he's looking like every game he's like, I'll tell Pulisic to hit it a little bit harder next time.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of saying, maybe we should put somebody at that near post.
Or maybe Reyna, when he's in, should be taking fucking corner kicks. And when Acosta's in, Acosta should be taking fucking corner kicks, but not Pulisic. Fucking put Tim Ream over there to take corner kicks. He's better at corner kicks than fucking Pulisic.
So it would suck to take him out of the mix, but yes.
You got enough guys there.
Dan W says, what do you guys expect from him? He wasn't 100% against the Netherlands. Against England, his set pieces were good, but the coach is an idiot.
Yeah,
set piece coach is an idiot.
Well,
yes.
Yeah.
Ask me.
Yeah.
No, so
they were better versus England. They were better.
We went qualifiers with Pulisic hitting that near post, that first man defense every single time. And the coach never once said, maybe we should try somebody else, or maybe we should put somebody at that near post in front of that man of defense. Maybe you can slip it by, who knows?
Remember when Stu was like, oh, look, he's bounced the ball twice. This is going to be a set piece that they've planned out.
Yeah.
He bounced it twice. That's a message to everyone else on the team.
But it could have been. Everybody's sitting there like, okay, he's going to kick it to where the PK spot is. Okay, we're going to do this. You're going to run there. And all of a sudden, first man defense every time. So when it did come against England, and he started lacing them finally, nobody was in their spots because they're sitting there going like, oh shit, that was actually a good one. We probably should have ran for that.
Yeah, he's short constantly. But it was so funny watching Stu build up that corner kick, and it was just a
yeah.
All right.
I would have to assume during practices and stuff like that, Pulisic's out there taking them, and every time he takes it, it's just a perfect lace every single time. And the coach is like, well, yeah, he's taking our free kicks, absolutely, 100%. And then it comes match day, and it's like he shits the bed every single time. It's like,
yeah,
what is happening? I mean,
yep, I don't get it.
If you got 10 PKs and you had a guy who goes up there and takes all 10 PKs and he puts one away on the 11th PK, I'm not giving the ball to him. I'm saying somebody else fucking take this PK.
Yeah, you'll make that decision long before that, actually.
I know.
All right, who's next?
Oh, yeah.
Jordan Morris, incomplete.
He's not going to be there. And
no, he's not.
He's only got bit minutes. Came in the first match, came in the last match.
His ligaments are spaghetti. If he's still playing 4 years from now, I would be surprised. And you know what's so funny? Remember our old group? Remember our old group of all the soccer guys, right?
Sure.
And we used to do the Facebook thing. And remember when I was saying, to me, Jordan Morris looks like a spaghetti fucking ligament motherfucker, and his career is going to be limited by his injuries. Remember what's his face used to say? Oh, Derek, come on. Did I get that prediction fucking nailed down after his first knee injury or what? Yes, I did. I'm giving myself credit. Can't remember the guy's name now. Shit. We used to know these people.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Was it the Seattle guy?
Yeah.
Was it Justin?
Justin. That's it. Yeah. That's hilarious.
We're not giving you a last name, guys.
No.
We don't want this held on him. No.
But it's so funny. We knew these guys for 10 years, and we all were huge, major, very informed, most of us soccer fans. We'd have all these debates, and one of them was that. And I said, I'm pretty sure Morris is just going to be an injury-plagued career. And he disagreed, and it turns out I was right.
I treated the old SI boards like I treat Twitter. I every time I'd go in there, you guys would it'd always be like 2 or 3 of you guys just shitting like back and forth. And then I'd come in there with just some, porn title reference or, crack a joke, and then I'd bow out. I'm like, guys, you guys are taking this way too fucking seriously. Come on.
And then I was like, Brett's a dick, man. He didn't even come to my defense. All right.
Yeah, I was going to say, you were on a good number of them, Derek.
Oh, yeah. We had a lot of arguments on that page. How'd you write? D.
Even bag of the goal. I'd give him a C- because of the bag of the goal. Mind you, didn't amount to shit.
On.
But no,
did you not just hear my whole description of rolling over at a camp and accidentally inserting yourself into the chick laying next to you? That does not count as scoring.
He scored.
No, he did not.
He put his
rolled
D in some
over.
chick's V, maybe A. I don't know. It depends.
He rolled over and fell into a hole. That's all he did. And you can't say that's a score. So I'm sticking with my D-. And no, I do not think Haji Wright is going to be back.
I'll give him a D+ then, okay? You happy?
All
You're happy
right.
now?
He did get the tip
bully.
in.
You
You're
peer
right.
pressuring bully. It's probably why he got in a lot of fights earlier. Just saying.
He did get the tip in. So yes, D+. All right. But no, I don't think he'll be back. Honestly.
C- for tricking that ball to go in. Oh, yeah.
I don't think he'll be back. I think that Sargent and Pepe and maybe someone else, maybe Hoppy. I just don't think that Haji's got it. You know, when you watch a player and you're like, yeah, they got that certain something. He just doesn't have it.
It's hard to say, but again, he's 24 years old. It means he got another cycle ahead of him. But will he be able to compete against Pepe or, like you said, Sargent, or again, who knows? Maybe
whomever,
like Vasquez pops up. You never know, or
Hoppy.
Somebody else.
Yeah, you don't know. And all I'm saying is that Haji Wright, what's he going to play? 4 more years for Antalyaspor? Because if he isn't, where is he going to go play? Because everywhere else he's gone, it's been okay. Because in Germany it was rough. Where did he spend a season in Belgium? Was it?
Yeah, Belgium. I think
he did. He did okay there. But for the most part, he's going to have to start scoring in a bigger league than Belgium and Turkey. That's like scoring at a whorehouse. All right. You got to do better than that. You got to like remove yourself from the whorehouse and like try to get like a girlfriend or something, like a serious one, like a real club at a real league at a real level.
Speaking of my friend that's also a girl, Chris Carey asked if Pulisic got laid when he got home.
By whom?
I think the bigger point would be he more or less got laid whenever the female nurse in Qatar had to shave his balls for surgery.
No, that was not actual intercourse. That was just a reach around. She just rubbed one out for him. Yes, that doesn't count. Pulisic is still a virgin. Inform me otherwise when that is. Hey, inform me when he's caught in public.
You get the Steven Crowder type of thing where it's like, prove me wrong or change my mind or whatever.
I'm just saying.
Virgin, change my mind.
When you catch a photo of him on Twitter by someone in the press or anybody else with him hanging out with a female who's not old enough to be his mom, let me know because.
Hey, he had a picture with that Instagram model or whatever, or that OnlyFans model, I mean.
Everybody's got wags in the fucking Premier League, but have you seen Pulisic's wag? No, you haven't. Have you seen a photo with him with a wag? With a girlfriend? No, you have not. Sargent's out there making babies.
Yeah.
All right? So, all right. Just let me know. Pulisic's a really nice.
He's playing his flag. This is for America.
Well, Pulisic's also very religious and Catholic. I think he's Catholic. I think that, he's one of those guys that might be like, I'm waiting for marriage kind of thing. And I think that's what's hurting him in dates because she's like, hey, man, let's get it on. He's like, well, I'd really like to, save my virginity until marriage. And she's like, what? What are you, born in 1922?
Let's go to sleep right now because we got Bible study in the morning, okay?
I don't think Catholics do Bible study that way. But anyhow, they do. I don't think they call it Bible study. They might. I don't know. I'm not Catholic. Anyhow, I do think he's waiting for marriage, and he is very religious. So, and that's okay. I'm busting his balls for being a virgin. But I'm busting his balls. I'm not saying it's a negative character, thing.
And Derek has not actually checked his V card. He doesn't know if 100% that he's actually still a virgin.
Oh yeah, I do.
You have checked his V card.
Hell yeah, I have. He mailed me his card, a copy of his card. It was blank, completely empty. It had some hand jobs on it and some other things, but nothing else. So, and most of those hand jobs were done by himself.
Then his injury against Iran must have hurt even more. Oof.
You do, Wea.
I totally didn't get hit in the balls or anything. Projection much.
I'm fine.
Yeah. Well,
Weah.
Weah gets an A- for me.
I give him a B-.
Really? You had him that low?
Yeah. I think he disappeared versus the Dutch. I think that
What are you talking about? Him and Des were by far the most active people in that field because the ball always went down the right side.
they were active at not doing anything with attacks down the right side.
We were as a team.
Des made all the difference.
The team were inefficient in that final third. I agree with you 100% on that.
Des wasn't. He made some real attacks. And then I'm sorry. Okay, maybe it was
B- is rough, man.
Okay, B.
Yeah, B+. Here's another B+.
All right, go with Brett then. Maybe it's just a B.
Yeah,
B+. I was disappointed, frankly.
I've taken my pessimism and I'm like, this doesn't feel right, Derek. Hot potato.
I wanted more, and I didn't get what I was asking for.
Is this fair?
Maybe. I don't think he should have been yanked from one of the games that he was yanked from because I thought he still had more to give. I didn't think you take him off.
Let's split the middle with Chris, I guess, huh?
B+. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with it. I'm fine with that. I can see how you could call it either way. But there's a lot more ahead for Timothy. I think that it's another guy I would not have taken off versus Holland. Quit being gross.
No. Are you new to the show, Derek?
No, I'm just being a hypocrite.
Yeah.
All right. What else?
We just spent 15 minutes talking about Pulisic's V card. So
yeah. All right. What? Josh Sargent. Another B+, somewhere around there. First game, pretty ineffective. Great game versus England, though.
You know what, though? I mean, I keep going back to that first.
Or was it Iran? I'm sorry, Iran.
Yeah,
Iran.
It's Iran.
Yeah, Iran.
I keep going back to that first game because people talk about it. Man, he nailed the post on his one opportunity he really had throughout the tournament. I thought he was taking shots when he could get them. Now, of course, most of our shots get blocked regardless, but he was at least trying, and I think he had confidence. Yeah, I'm sticking with BB+. I agree with you on this.
Okay,
but I don't think his first match against Wales was as bad as everybody kept stating.
I don't think anything versus in that game was bad. But I did like his Iran stuff.
The number of pundits and the number of posts I saw on Twitter were like, "We just don't have a 9 that can score a goal." I'm like, no, we don't have a 9 that gets an opportunity.
I'm so sick of that shit.
We
got 9s.
Argument.
Yeah,
it's funny because all of these 9s have no problem scoring for their clubs. Now, of course, the varying level, championship, you got Turkey, you got MLS, you've got Holland if you count Pepe right now. But they're all scoring for PFOC for Bundesliga, but he hasn't scored in a while. But still scoring goals. And I don't know if I've got the tweet up right now, but they showed how Berhalter said we don't have a Depay who's scoring goals in the Champions League. We talked about that quote, I think, last time. But it's funny because you look at players who have scored more goals in Champions League, and there's 4 U.S. players above Depay over the last 2 years. So it's a nonsensical argument. Basically, Berhalter, you have no idea how to actually create significant chances in the attack. You're solid enough keeping the defense in check. But when it comes to the attacking, we're clueless when it gets into the final third.
Hey, Greg, that was one of the worst quotes I've ever seen from you. And this is right after World Cup, Greg. I'm not sure what you were thinking, Greg, but you both shat on your team, basically. And so you didn't take any responsibility. And then you made an incorrect, lack of fact comment when we have 4 other players that have scored more goals than Memphis Depay in the fucking Champions League in the last 4 years, and you're telling us we don't have Memphis Depay? No, we don't, because he plays with the Netherlands, dumb shit. But we have other guys that score goals in the Champions League that, one, you didn't call up, didn't play, and didn't call up, named PFOC. And the other guys, we have those guys. Pulisic scored in the Champions League. Mm-hmm. Last time I remember, I watched him score a goal versus Real Madrid. Guess that's not good enough. Doesn't make him Memphis Depay. Well, he's never going to be Memphis Depay. By the way, Memphis Depay is too busy anyhow doing mouth-to-mouth kisses with Van Gaal. So he doesn't have time to be Christian Pulisic at the same time. By the way, that was a joke in their interview today with the press because they asked Van Gaal about Di Maria, who put out a quote saying, "I hated playing for Van Gaal at Man United. We had no relationship, and I was glad as fuck to get out of there." And then Van Gaal said, "Well, that's fine. You know who else played with me for me at Manchester United? This guy right here, Memphis Depay. And you know what? Our relation's so good. Now we exchange kisses lip to lip, or mouth to mouth, I think is what he said. Mund to mund." Yep. I thought that was really gross. And then Depay's like, "Wait a minute. No. Hold on now. Wait a minute.
No. We don't do that. We just touch tip to tip. That's all."
He's like, "Don't you get any stuff like that started, Van Gaal." Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right. We got closers because we're about at 10:01 and somebody's got to take bath night. Seriously.
I guess real quickly, while we're talking about coaches and stuff like that, let's talk about coaches real quick and then we'll do our questions. Hammer through all this.
No. We're saving that for another show. The whole thing, who's going to be Greg's replacement.
Okay. All right,
that is not this show. No.
That might be picked for us by the time that comes around. All right, let's just jump right into the questions then, okay?
Oh, God. All right.
Hold up.
Are we there yet?
Yeah. No, we're not, actually. Sorry.
No, we're not.
Here we go. Just wanted to pull up a fresh one of these. Click on it. There we go.
Okay, we're back. Clownholter says or asks,
Hold on,
I know the show is supposed to be about the future, but ignorance from the past cannot be ignored. How do you get away with making such a blatantly ignorant statement? I'm glad he got called out. What was the statement?
Oh, here it is. It's the Memphis Depay. We just talked about this.
Oh!
Goal contributions in the last 2 Champions League seasons.
Yes. And we did call Greg out for it the first show we did, actually, which was the post show for.
Oh, we forgot to do this.
Great Berhalter. So I think Herc was really nice giving him a B. I thought he was like an A- against England.
While you're mulling it over, I'm going to go and flat out state he gets a B- for me. He did some good things. Starting 11s are generally pretty good. Came out with game plan, but his player management as the game went on sucked donkey balls.
Yeah, B- I think is about what I was going to do too.
That might be generous giving Reyna's contribution to the World Cup. I think that hurts too, but
yeah, I think B- is good, but we don't need a B- coach going forward. We don't need it. We need an A. We need an A+ coach.
I was just happy that he adjusted his tactics and actually came out with a plan. I think I felt that way at least because we all.
No, you're right. You're right.
Came out solid, but yeah, it was different. It's not what we were expecting leading into it.
He made major adjustments.
Those second half changes, man. They just fucking sucked.
His sub sucked.
God.
So, but that is true throughout most of his tenure.
Very much.
Second half adjustments have always been pretty poor. So
4 more years. 4 more years.
Oh! I'd rather stab a fucking ice pick up my goddamn penis hole. Please, no. All right, Mike Oxbent.
I'm sorry.
My Oxbent? Mike Coxbent. Mike Coxbent. All right.
That was up one though, man.
All right. Desi Peroni Mitch. I think we should promote the set piece coach as manager. Then he will no longer be in charge of set pieces. My top 3 Americans to replace GGR Marazzo, Hugo Perez, and Jesse Marsh. I think Jesse's staying at Leeds. Hugo Perez is not going to be given a sniff of that because he is not a USS cocksucker. And then Matarazzo's sort of an unknown. He has no real connections with the USSF hierarchy.
Playing for him. But the hierarchy. Yes,
Yeah, and you got to have some sort of ball sniffing, mutual ball sniffing going on there.
This seems like the obvious go-to, quite frankly, for USSF. He's former player. He has international experience in Germany, in the Bundesliga, and he has no job.
Yeah, he doesn't
give him that phone call,
David Wagner doesn't have a job either. So there's that. Top 3 non-Americans. Roberto Martinez, after what he did to Belgium, I don't know if I could do that. Gareca.
Pete had a comment about that as everything. Basically, taking away from his bad performance with Belgium, he's had a storied career and stuff like that. So I don't know.
I guess. I mean, listen, the Belgians have made runs with him in control, but I don't know. It just seems to me the game's passed him by a little bit.
What about that one?
I love Jermaine Jones. Not so much the new version that's has USF cream rubbed all over him. But the rest of it are like, and Pochettino, I don't think we have a shot at him. So I just take him off.
And Gareca is am I saying that right?
Yes, it's Gareca.
Yeah.
I don't.
And he's expressed interest for L3, I believe.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, that's more likely than us.
Yeah, L3 has an opening. Well, we can bring Tata in. Tata has no job.
I wouldn't take Tata if he were all lubed up and ready to go.
I love how that was the debate. Was it going to be Tata or is it going to be Berhalter? And it was like, no, Tata, and I don't know. I think Berhalter
Tata turned out to be
the better decision.
Yeah, unbelievably, Tata has spiraled into a incredibly arrogant piece of shit.
Ooh, how about Jay Berhalter? Is he available?
He's available for Bukakis. All right. Provided Greg does leave, I keep going back to either Jim Beef Curtin, or Josh Wolf. I was going to put one in there too, but I decided not to because it was totally politically incorrect. Making most sense of domestic coaches. Both have connections to Stewart. True. Tougher to guess with international coaches, but I'm curious if they look at Ronnie Delia. God damn it. Delia. All right. You can tell I've hit my limit. Lack of sleep.
I feel like Curtin stands a better chance than Wolf does in this situation, given the fact that Wolf's a first-year coach, right? First-year coach with Austin, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Curtin has almost a decade at Union.
I wouldn't mind Curtin, but Curtin way over Wolf, that's for sure.
Sure. Wait. There's somebody said it. Somebody said, oh, not you. This one.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
No, Chris, you know better than to put that up on our screen.
And Tact would love that. Tact would love that, first off.
Yeah. No Jason Christ. That ain't happening. He pretty much dug his own ditch.
That was what a storied career he has of a downfall.
I mean, what a major absolute collapse.
Started up here.
Yep.
Didn't have to work up there. He just started up here, and it was just ever since.
Good, this many good years with RSL, and then fucking downward to the bottom of the fucking pit. Yeah. All right.
What about Tab? We're gonna get this anyways. This is a future show, guys. Let's not get. We'll jump into this later.
Yeah, we'll answer it. We're gonna do a whole show on the next.
Talk about that one.
So
Bentley, we already talked about your topic a little bit up there.
But we'll talk more about it when we do the actual show of who should replace Berhalter. So we're going to do one.
Yep.
Where we cover everybody, all of them. We're going to bring everybody up that could possibly, sniff the anus of this job. Because that's what this is. Because you got to work with USSF, and they're a big, giant stinky anus. So you got to be able to put up with that.
While Chris Garris does talk about the coach, about Berhalter, it's not necessarily about replacing him. So we'll do this one.
It seems to me that USSF want to keep Greg. I would agree that could be a very high possibility, but Greg isn't sure what he wants. Oh, bullshit. Now that I don't buy. That's all a fucking joke. I don't buy Keller.
He's doing the dance like, I have some club offers over here. You might want to make that a little more lucrative.
Yeah, Klagenfurt came knocking at my door. Seems like he'd rather have club soccer. I'm not buying that. Not. But no matter who the manager is, it's time to move away from the poor MLS favorites and replace them with younger players. Oh, young. Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah. All right,
the Jets, all those players.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He doesn't even specify younger European players because that's what a lot of people will say. Like, oh, you're just an MLS hater. Like, no, he might be talking about some younger MLS players.
There is nothing more than all the top execs and the board and Ernie Stewart than a really good tossed salad. And there is no one that makes a tossed salad as good as Greg Berhalter because he likes that shit. He's all up in it, right? He's all up in it. So it's going to be hard for them to get away from their boy because that guy, Greg, knows how to toss that shit.
You're my boy.
So, take that metaphor any way you'd like. All right, what else we got? Fred Baker, I agree it's time for GGE to go. I thought he did a decent job, just not enough creativity. He'll be a great club manager, though. I like either Caleb Porter, maybe, Jim Curtin, maybe, and we'll cover all of the guys up there. Or Bruce Arena.
Well, no, that falls right in line with Fred, though.
Bruce already had 3 shots of this apple.
2.5.
He's done.
Absolutely 100%.
I love Bruce, but he's done.
Fred, uncharacteristic comment here.
Like a rational comment.
Like something we could actually talk about, but we're not going to do it today because this is going to be a topic for another show.
Yeah, I mean, we're already 2 hours into this, Brett.
Yeah.
What are you trying to do? Kill me? What's going on?
We're going to hit that 3-hour mark before too long, Derek.
What's next? Copa America final matchup with the defending World Cup champs, Brazil. Yeah, hopefully we're in the Copa America. Hopefully. And listen, an ass beating for Brazil would be a good learning experience. Bar down bully. I just need a moment to grieve. This fucked up opportunity wasted.
Yeah.
I actually had hope for this game, and even with his fucked up tactics, we had a chance to the last goal. So pissed. Yeah, I get being pissed and angry and upset. I wasn't any of those things. I was kind of like, yeah, well, okay.
There were aspects, and I think he brings it up as the fucked up tactics. We went back to that 4-3-3 that we played all through qualifiers, and it was different than we did during the group stages. And even to this point, even with those tactics, we still had a handful of opportunities that could have been put away. We actually came back, and it was 2-1, and there was hope building up until that final last goal.
Well, and all the goals were mental errors.
Yeah. So there was still hope throughout the match.
I just at that point I expected there was a good chance when I woke up that morning that we were going to lose the game. Mm-hmm. And so I'd already kind of settled into like, okay, if it happens, just handle it like a fucking man. All right, and move along. Whatever that means. I mean, you could say that in the old days. People are like, yeah, handle like a man, whatever that means.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Like, become very distant about something you care very much about and move on. Yeah, like a man. All right. Are we done?
We are.
We are done. And, hey, I want to thank everybody for showing up tonight, being a part of the show, sending your questions, and all the great things that you do that makes this worth doing for 2 hours. I mean, we got to be insane. Nobody does a 2-hour show. Who does a 2-hour show?
We do.
Us. We're idiots.
Shtick at this point.
All right, guys. Until the next time, make sure you like and subscribe. And I guess listen to the song. It's from my new album, which you can find more about below. I believe.
In the description.
Yeah, not in Brett's crotch. All right. Until the next
time.
Might
find something there.
Good night.
But she's a trap, she's an unsung novel, turn a lap and get your whole world dazzled on the line, or a phone call with or without wine. Oh, I'm a star, I'm a magazine hero in a bar, I'm a faceless hero in a bind. I can add 1 and 1, it equals 2. I feel it turning around, I know there's nothing new underneath your guile. She's a crown, she's a crown. She's a crown on the crest of waves. She's a trap, she's an unsung novel, turn a lap and get your whole world dazzled on the line, or a phone call with or without wine. I'm a star, I'm a magazine zero in a bar, I'm a faceless hero in a bind. I can add 1 and 1, it equals 2. She's a crown, she's a crown. She's a crown on the crest of winds.
You're gonna do her. Yeah.
Oh no!
Matt, what the hell was that?